In this demo, we will briefly walk through some reporting use cases. To access Advanced Analytics, simply navigate to Phrase Analytics page and head over to the Advanced tab. You can easily request a trial access by clicking on this button over here and then submitting the form with your work email. Once Advanced Analytics is enabled for you, all administrator and project manager roles will have access to it. The viewing access rights in terms of data depends on what you allocate under the User Settings menu. So each of the roles will be able to view the data depending on the toggle that is assigned to them over here. To create a new chart or report, simply click on the New button and click on Question. Now, a question here has the same meaning as a chart or a report. Select our analytics schema and select one of the relevant tables. In our example here, we want to build a job report, so I will select the Job Detail V1 table. And from the drop-down arrow over here, you can see all the columns and data fields that are available within that table. You can have them all selected, or deselect, or select specific columns that you'd want to have. So let's just deselect some of the columns from here, and finally click on Visualize. And over here we can see that the application will show a table structure of the report with all the columns that we have left enabled. Finally, click on Save and give a name to the report. This is job report. Click on Save and add this to a dashboard. Yes, please. Under My Personal Collection, and we create a new dashboard name. Click on Create. And now we have the report displayed on the canvas, and we can adjust the width, the height as we please. And for this dashboard, we'd want to add a filter. So clicking on this icon over here, let's add a time filter with all the available options. And we want to have that based on the job created date. Adjust the label for the filter. And let's assign another filter, but this time going for the text or category and having that being displayed as a drop-down. And we want to have that based on the status. Project status, and again adjust the label from the side. Users can pick multiple values, that's correct, and click on Done. And finally, save. And as you can see now, when as a user, I can go to the filters and have the available options that I can choose from the drop-down menu, for instance. You can add additional filters to the dashboard. There's no specific limitation. And it will update according to the filters that you assign at the top. To re-access what we've just created, simply navigate to the side menu from your personal collection, and you can see the two new charts that we've created. So we have the job report, which is in a table-like structure, and the dashboard that we have created. Another use case, for instance, we can go to create another question, and we want to show the total words completed by workflow step. So we again click on the analytics, and in this case, the data is found under the on-time V1 table. So to show the words completed, we pick our metric, which is the summation of and the count of the words completed. And as a group by column, it would be the workflow step name. I click on visualize, and it shows a bar chart by default. Click on the visualization button and you can adjust that to either visualize it as a row or even as a pie chart. And additionally, you can also set filters from the top. So if you want to have a date filter for this chart, so we want to filter on a thing for the past month, we can select the option over here. Or you can also choose to exclude or include certain criteria, which are applicable to the chart that you'd have with the columns you've chosen. So for instance, clicking on the down arrow, you can exclude by selecting is not or any one of the relevant options. In this case, let's keep it for the date, apply filter, and the chart will update with the new data. You can go back at any time to the editor to change your query from the top side button, or you can also update from the buttons over here, like we've seen in the filter, and also the summarize by the side navigation menu that loads from the left panel. Click on save, and let's give a name. Save, and not now. I go back to my personal collection and we can see words by workflow happening. And now let's go to create a dashboard. Go new and dashboard. This dashboard. Create. And by default, the system will show a blank new canvas. Click on the plus icon from the top and select the charts that you'd want to display in the dashboard. You can readjust the positioning of each of the charts so that they are easily and more visually better. Just a moment. And click on save. You can close the sidebar. And this is our final dashboard. You can always go back to edit mode, assign any filters to the dashboard, or also add charts. You can also remove one of the charts that you have from here. And again, after any changes that you do, click on save. Going back to the side panel, if you have quite a number of charts or dashboards in the list over here, you can easily have one that is quickly referenced. So for instance, if this chart is something that is accessed quite frequently, you can easily bookmark it by clicking on the icon over here, and under the side navigation panel, it will be bookmarked in the topmost of the side panel. You can have, for instance, if we have another chart which is accessed quite frequently, we can have two charts under the bookmarks over here. So they are quite easily referenced than having to go to navigate through all the list every time. Oh, and something that is also worth mentioning, so for each and every chart, there is also a settings button where you can also adjust the labels, the colors, and also the display type. So if you want to add a goal line, for instance, it's also possible. So it's quite flexible, and each and every chart type has its own applicable settings, of course. And these can be changed and updated at any point in time And they will also be shown updated in the final dashboard if this particular chart is added to the dashboard. At the moment, we're also working to support sharing of dashboards with other users of your organization. So that's something that is in our pipeline. And for those who haven't yet requested a trial, I highly recommend you do so to explore the overall platform and the data, and also to provide us with feedback of how we can help you achieve your reporting needs. Thank you.